Yeah, I feel good, and you know, mixed results the other night in the exhibition, but that's why you have them. It's just the thing that occurs to me is years ago you had an exhibition game or a scrimmage or whatever after a month, and now you have one after about 2.5 weeks. So it's they're always a little bit ragged, and you're never quite as good as you'd like to be at that stage. But so we'll scrimmage St. Mary's Saturday morning, and that'll be good. It'll be a great competition, and give us a better idea where we are. We know we've got some weaknesses, some things we have to work on, and some of it's just going to be flat out experience. Some of our younger players are not going to get it right away. It's just going to take some time, but we've got once we start, it happens pretty fast, and we've got a lot of games in a short period of time. We can't afford to stub our toe. We've got to be ready to go. So we're going to start throwing a lot of stuff at them now, and they're going to have to try to keep up as best we can, and then stay after the basic fundamental parts of the thing. So,
Mike, besides Harper Kemp's health, which I know you think is a potential stumbling block, are there one or two other key things that you're concerned about going forward here?
well, I'm a little concerned about guard depth. That concerns me. Obviously, Justin played very well the other night, which was great to see. It's the first real time that he's been able to play in a game on the floor in a uniform, and that was encouraging. But after that, I'm not sure where we go. Right now, Emerson and Jeff Powers are the two guys that we would use at those two positions. So there's some concern there. Consistency at the low post positions. Trying to figure out what we're going to get on a consistent basis from Richard, Bach, Robert, say Kravish. We're not sure what that is right now. It changes. You know, we've got to have a little bit better understanding of what it is they're going to do and what it is they're going to give us, so we can kind of count on that. I'm not sure if we have that yet.
Unlike last year, there's some expectations on this team. You picked a very close second in the Pac-12. How are you approaching this season, knowing that there's expectations on your team?
Well, no different. I mean, that's always the bane of coaches, is these expectations things that really come from media and returning players. Our job is to just try to get better and improve and be a consistently good team. And we've got to have some people develop into some spots and some roles in order to do that. We have an opportunity to win some games, and we've got to make sure that we keep the proper attitude heading into the season and focus week to week on getting better. Kids tend to maybe take certain things for granted. We can't. We're not that good that we can take things for granted. We have to be a closely knit group that plays very well together and understands their roles and understands their strengths and weaknesses. If we don't do that, we're not going to be very good.
Can you talk about Jorge? Every year seemingly has added something to his game and improved himself. What will we see that, if anything, that's different this year out of him, and how is he in terms of a leader? He hasn't been a verbal guy. Usually he's kind of quiet.
And he won't be.
Yeah.
We're trying to make him understand that we need him on the floor and that he's got to be careful with the over-aggressive fouls, particularly in the first half. He tends to sometimes get a player where he thinks he's got him wounded a little bit, and he'll go for the kill, and officials have kind of called fouls on him. We can't afford to get those cheapies on him. You know, I think I don't want to put pressure on Jorge. I want to be able to play and just do what he does and allow him to be successful that way. I don't know where else he goes with his game other than what he's done for us the last couple of years. So we feel like he and Harper, we know pretty much what we're going to get. We're willing to live with what they give us and some of the things that you know, even the mistakes that they make, knowing it's going to be a lot of effort there. So we've kind of trying to make that point to the team. Guys are going to have to start figuring out what their roles are and what they need to do to help us be successful. It does not always involve scoring the ball. It involves rebounding the ball and being a defender and being in the right place and setting good screens and some of the things that aren't very sexy.
Mike, are you hoping to play more man-to-man this year?
Yeah, I'd sure like to, but again, I can't. We weren't very good in it the other night. Our weak side help side defense was pretty poor. Pressure on the ball wasn't very good. Granted, it's early, and those kids are smart kids and knew what they wanted to do, but we want to be able to play both well, man and zone, and be able to use what we think we need to when we need to win games.
Mike, when you recruited Jorge, you'd only seen him for a few minutes, I think, in a pickup situation perhaps. What did you think he would become, and has he exceeded the player you thought he might become?
Well, I didn't have any idea what he would become. We were over a barrel, and we didn't have a lot of choices. We had a kid leave late, and we were in late, and we went after what people were saying the best players available. We tried to make what I did know from talking with friends of mine in Colorado that I had coached way back in Colorado State in the early 70s was that he was really a tough kid, that he was a tremendous competitor, and that I would like him, was what they said. You're going to like this kid. I don't think there was anything specific about his skills or anything else. You get lucky with kids, and you got a kid like Jorge who's got a tremendous amount of pride and hates to lose and competes. I'm okay with that. That's generally going to work for me.
Mike is a guy who pretty much only knows like one speed, all out. I mean, the game takes enough out of you to begin with. But how do you tell yourself to maybe ease up on the throttle, slow down a little bit when you need to, with respect to, you know, what has happened?
Well, I should get better every day. I mean, I was at practice Monday. I was fine, ran to practice. Game on Tuesday, I was probably up. I didn't really even think about it. I just got up, and a couple coaches said, "Coach, be careful." I didn't really even think about it. Didn't seem to be any ill will. Anything happened badly, so I just got to make sure I get my rest. And you know, I probably won't be just getting up at 6 and getting in the office at 6:45, 7:45, you know, type thing. I'll probably do a little bit more work at home and that kind of thing. But I should just get stronger as time goes on. And so I feel pretty good today.
Have you thought about those back-to-back games when you play a night game, get on a plane, and you get in the next, you know, at 4 or 5 in the morning, you have to turn around, maybe a shoot around, and then the game's still where it's, you know, that kind of grind?
Well, I'm not in the NBA anymore, so we don't have any of that stuff. There's on the road, but you have a lot of time on the road. I mean, you can only do so much. I mean, you have Thursday, Saturdays where you're gonna, you know, fly and get in. You don't really get in that late.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it tough. But I'm pretty good at getting my rest. By then I'll be fine. Shouldn't be a factor.
Mike, what do you need to see out of Justin on a consistent basis for him to, you know, give you what you need from him? What are the
Well, he gave us what we needed the other night for sure. You know, really, first half kind of took it over, and we were struggling a little bit. Got to the basket. He's one of really 2 people that has the ability. Brandon can get there some, but Jorge and Justin are probably the 2 kids that get to the basket the best on our team. We need to expand that list, and Brandon can get there some. He's just not real big when he does. But he didn't make a lot of mistakes the other night. I mean, he was under control. He generally making the right play. He's screened too easily. Something we've got to work with him on. He gets screened, you know, like a freshman does, where he just gets caught right in the middle of a screen. We've got to work with him getting through screens and getting square, because he can on ball can defend. But if he can do what he did the other night on a consistent basis, he's going to be a big part of what we're doing.
What did you think of Bach's performance the other night?
It was okay. I mean, Bach's just, Bach sometimes is not as physical as I need him to be. It's just kind of not his nature, and he's got to get more physical. He's got to get into traffic and rebound balls. He's pretty skilled, but, we get in situations where we're concerned about our rebounding, and that's where we need somebody to be able to go up in traffic and get the ball. He's got to be able to do that. He understands the offense, I will say that. He knows what we're trying to do on a lot of things we're running, and seems to be in the right place. And he will finish shots. He's got a nice touch around the basket. If there's anything that I need for him to do is I just need him to be more physical.
Did he lose weight while he was back in Kenya?
Yeah, he did.
He was there a long time and not training and eating.
Didn't have consistent access to training or trainer weight-wise, didn't have access to money to eat. He was kind of scrambled around a little bit, so yeah, he did lose some weight.
Can you talk a little bit about the freshmen on Tuesday's game, Kravitz and Barron's? Kravitz seemed to be sort of in Harper's mold as a heady player, and Barron's help after the game.
David is a smart player. He really understands. He has a knack for being in the right place at the right time. Either he's well coached or he's just one of those guys. You get kids that just instinctively seem to go to the right place, and he did that in Europe when we played. Every time you looked, the ball be shot, he would be going to where he should be going, gets his hands on a lot of balls. Obviously, strength, he's going to have to be smart because he's not as strong as he's going to need to be in some situations, but he's good shot blocking, timing. Again, can't try to get everything. The shot blocker, he's going to leave the boards open for his man. But David played well, and Christian ended up, he's coming off an ACL in high school and missed a lot of time, kind of caught it awkwardly, and scared him as much as anything else because it was the same knee, and I think he was concerned that, but he's going to be out today. Get that thing's a little bit sore, get the MRI back and see if there's anything that happened down in there. We don't think it's too major, but Christian's come a long way since he's been there. He's gained 10, 15 pounds of strength, pretty athletic. He just started from a place that was behind everybody else because of missing all the time with that ACL.
How about Robert Thurman? What do you hope to get out of him this season? What are you going to need to get out of him?
Well, Robert's a big, strong kid. He's come a long way since he's been here. He's 265. He's probably the closest thing to 6'10" that we have. And he can get, if we can get him the ball in the right places, he's got the ability to score the ball. He just doesn't always we don't get him the ball where he should. Sometimes then he gets a little bit mixed up and won't take a good shot. But if we can convince him what's good for him, which is in turn good for us, he can help us because he'll rebound the ball. He can go up and get the ball. And he's got a pretty good feel for the offense, what we're trying to do. We just need to make sure that we don't ask him to do more than he's capable. Get him the ball where he can be successful, and get him to understand if you don't have something, go turn it down. Let's go, we'll get the ball back to you.
Where do you think Richard is at this point from a year ago? And are the goggles affecting him in any way?
No, not at all. He was real uncomfortable when he got his eye scratched. It was really bothered him, very, very painful. So I'm sure the goggles are a precaution. There's no real reason to wear them. The chances of getting scratched again are pretty remote, but because of that, we really haven't even talked about it. We've got to continue to work. He's certainly further ahead than he was. He's stronger. We've just got to continue to work on getting some consistency on what he's able to do, how he's able to do it, understanding what a good play is for him. That's important, and he doesn't always get that.
Does he still play too fast sometimes?
Well, the other day we threw at the ball at low post, and he just immediately just took it, and didn't convert. Well, that does nobody any good. He's got to slow down, be patient, find out where he is, get to his best move, get to a strong move, and there's a good chance it'll go in. But when he tries to rush it, it's not working for him. And that's just experience and, again, part of his teammates knowing to pass him the ball, let him get on balance and make a play.
Like last year, Allen came in and seemed, you guys had to encourage him to shoot more and deferred to guys, and he finally got in the rhythm and got playing really well for you. What do you expect out of him in terms of his progress?
Well, he'll figure out what he has to do to help us win. We've told our team that for us to be successful, Allen has to get shots. And that's incumbent upon his teammates to make sure that he's getting good shots, because he's a great shooter. So they have to work at that. And that's part of what makes a good team, is understanding what people's strengths are and putting them in those positions. But at the same time, he can't stand there and wait for everybody else to do his work. He's going to have to get some off the glass. He's going to have to get some off the break. He's going to have to get some off, put the ball on the floor, but get into the basket and get fouled. He's a great foul shooter as well. So it'd still be a work in progress.
Is he bigger than last year, more substantial? Looks like
He's gotten stronger without question. I can't talk about the guys who are here. He's gotten stronger. He's been in the weight room. He's got some more tattoos now that he's got a little more room. No, but he's stronger. It really, unfortunately, missed that probably a month and a half with where he got his nose broken. That probably set him back a little bit. But he's actually pretty strong. He's filled out pretty nicely. Got long arms to start with, so probably plays a little bit bigger than 6'5", 5'5".
Finish this thought, Coach, especially with this group in the back there. For this particular Mike Montgomery team to make a run at this, you're going to have to do what?
What is this, Jeopardy?
I'm just trying to be thought-provoking.
That's what I always liked about you. Well, I'm not sure I ever did like you. Just give you this. Well, we have to be consistent with what we do well. We're not going to overpower people just by being more talented. We're not particularly bigger than people. We're not particularly more athletic than people. But we have the ability, if we're consistent with what we know we can do, if people can accept roles and do those things that make the team function, we'll be fine. We'll be able to beat a lot of people. Somebody called me today and was saying, well, you guys, I said, I think we're solid. I think we're solid. And he said, well, solid's good. And I said, solid is good. We're going to win more being solid than not. We just have to figure out, we can't have lapses. We have to understand everybody's strengths and allow us to go to those strengths.
Do you think the personalities of your two seniors really lend themselves to getting people to do those things you want?
Yeah, I don't think there's any selfishness at all with the seniors. I don't think they have ulterior motives that they would try to get something out of this for themselves just because they're seniors. They're not that kind of kids. I've told Harper that, you got to be the brains of this outfit. You got to be in the back and think for people, because he has the ability to do that. He's fine with that. That completely makes sense to him. And Jorge, same thing. Jorge, the other night, made a couple passes where he actually could have taken it himself and probably scored it, but he decided that, he just put the ball ahead. And that kind of attitude is, if you can get everybody to think like that, really pays dividends for you.
Are there things different you guys are looking at doing with Alex Rossi to see why he's not getting as healthy as quickly as you thought?
I'm not really qualified to speak on the medical thing. He's just had a really tough time. From my perspective, we're supporting Alex in every way we can. We're trying to take the pressure off of him so he doesn't feel. He's just never been able to do much, and he just feels a lot of different emotions. And we're trying to allow him just to get healthy, just focus on getting healthy. That's all that really matters, because without that, you're going to be frustrated. I don't know what else we can do. We've got the best medical care we can possibly have, and you just got to stay with it. He's just got to be patient.
Is he getting closer? Do you know?
Every time he gets closer, he has a setback. So, one has to assume, I think that's part of the source of his frustration is it's one step forward, one step back, and that's really hard for a young person not to tell me what to do. I'll do anything you ask me to do. Tell me, but they want results. He's just not getting those.
I think it seems like last year your team was characterized by consistent hard play. I mean, a team with a big heart and full effort. Now with more returning players and maybe added depth, you feel that'll be this. Your team will be characterized by that as well.
Well, it should be. I don't see a change there. The one thing that you probably have to recognize a little bit is Mark Curry's value, even though the numbers were not great. Mark Curry you always knew where he was going to be. I mean, he wasn't going to very, very far. And he was going to be there, and by golly, he was a rock. And you could kind of play off that because you knew that he was going to anchor it back in there, both physically and a lot of other ways. Now you introduce a wild card into the thing. It's not specifically that. With that one guy, allowed Harper to play off that, where he could kind of do his thing, knowing you had the one guy there that, and again, not that the numbers were great, but you could count on him being there. We don't have that, and so we're going to have to be a little bit different in that regard as far as establishing that sort of thing in the paint. So it's not bad, but as far as the effort and so forth, I think they'll figure that out. They're a competitive group of guys, and it'll vary. They'll get complacent or whatever, and we'll get slapped down if we do that. We just will, and so they'll figure it out.